Good morning, friends. Myself, Manoj Kumar Chitale, Assistant Professor, Hirashugar Institute of Technology, Annid. In this session, we people are going to discuss the error detection and correction. We have already discussed the OSI reference model. When it comes to the data link layer, we have already gone through the functionality of the data link layer. The data link layer is transforms the raw physical layer to a reliable link one. Okay. Apart from that, the data link layer is responsible for the transfer of frames from one hop to the next hop. The other responsibilities that are associated with the data link layer is framing, physical addressing, error control, flow control, and media access control. Okay, and in this session, we people are going to discuss one of its functionality, that is error detection and correction. Data can be corrupted during a transmission. Okay, whenever we transmit the information or messages, these messages or data has to pass through the number of hurdles. Okay, because when it comes to the physical layer, we don't have the ideal channel that transmits your information perfectly, and there are some applications we have. They are happy with some sort of errors. Okay, we call them as a loss tolerant applications. Okay, some applications requires error to be detected and corrected here. In this session, we people are going to discuss about the types of error, redundancy, detection versus correction, a forward error correction versus retransmissions, coding, as well as the modular arithmetic. Okay, whenever we transmit bits from one point to another, okay, these bits are subjected to interference, and because of this interference, a signal changes its shape. Okay, when it comes to the term called a single bit error, only one bit in a data unit has changed. Okay, that is from 0 to 1 or from 1 to 0. Here we have sent this data, that is 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0, and this the fourth bit. Okay, that bit becomes the corrupt one, that is changed from 0 to 1 here. Okay, and the receiver receives this information. Okay, we can say that this is the a start of a text, and this is the what received, that is the line feed here. Okay, and this type of error, these are this single bit error are a least likely error occurs here. Okay, because whenever, suppose if we transmit the data at for example 1 kbps, okay, on that case, suppose if if you look at the bit duration, okay, consider consider I am transmitting the information at the rate of 1 kbps. Okay, what is the bit duration? That is 1 divided by 1000. In the sense, the bit duration is nothing but 1 milliseconds. Suppose to occur a single bit error, the noise should and must be present for that much period of a duration. In the sense, the noise should and must remain for a 1 millisecond only. Then only a single bit is corrupted from that particular data flow. Okay. These are least likely occur type of error, we can say that. The next one, we have a burst error. A burst error means that 2 or more bits in the data unit have changed. Okay. Consider we are transmitting a certain information, and some bits are corrupted because the noise remains for a longer period of a time. For that purpose, it affects the number of bits in the data units, and these are a most likely type of error we receive in a data communication. The length of the burst error is not defined how many number of bits are corrupted here. Maybe 2 bits are corrupted, but the length of the burst error is defined from the bit that is a first bit, that is a corrupt one, to the last bit here. Okay. Here 4 bits are corrupted here, but the length of the burst error is 8 here. All these bits are in error only. Okay. And these are most of the time we people are receiving these type of errors, that is a burst error. Burst error. Suppose consider the noise is present for a duration of 1/100 seconds, and if you transmit the information at the rate of 1 kbps, that is 1000 bits per second, on that case that noise can affect 10 bits, or in some cases it can affect all the bits also. Okay. When it comes to the detection and the correction, we people are using the concept called a redundancy. Okay. The redundancy is nothing but we need to send some extra bits along the data here. Okay. To detect and or to correct errors, we need to send the extra bits with the data. Okay. Here we people are very much interested in the detection and the correction here. Okay. The detection, we people are very much interested in whether the received information is corrupt or not, and the answer is yes or no. If the received information is a corrupt one, we can say that it is a yes. If it is not a corrupt one, on that case we simply come to the conclusion as a no here. When it comes to the redundancy, I need to send the extra bits along with the data here, and the presence of this data, that is a redundant bits, helps the destination machine to detect as well as to correct these errors. When it comes to the detection and the correction, the detection is a very simple one. Okay. We have a yes or no questions, whether the received information is correct, yes or no. Okay. When it comes to the correction, we people are facing the problem. We should and must know the exact position of the corrupt bit here, as well as we people are interested to know what are the possibility. Suppose if I send, for example, a 8-bit information, if a 1-bit error occurs, I need to know the exact position, which bit is a corrupt one first, as well as we need to check all the possible cases also. That is nothing but I think you people have gone through the permutation and the permutation and the combinations. On that case, I need to check all these 8 possible positions. Suppose if a 2 bits if a 2-bit error occur, on that case you should and must know the position of those 2-bit error positions, that the bits that are a corrupted one, and after that the possibilities. In the sense, we people are getting around 8 P2 possibilities here. For that purpose, this correction becomes a very difficult one. The next one, we have a forward error correction versus the retransmission. In case of a forward error correction, if you receive some sort of a corrupt information, that are the bits are the bits whatever the destination receives some sort of a corrupt information, the bits have already altered its values here. Okay, that is, the 0 becomes the 1 and a 1 becomes the 0. Either it may be a single bit error or it may be a burst error. In case of the forward error correction, we people are trying to guess what is the correct word that is transmitted or that is sent by the source here. Okay, it is possible. Suppose if the bit errors are a very small one. In case of a retransmission, the correction is a very difficult one. We have already told that. Okay, the correction is a very difficult one, and instead of rectifying, instead of correcting those bits, we people are informing the source to retransmit that information one more time here. Okay, that is, the destination machine sends the feedback information about those corrupt bits, and it is asking the same information one more time. Okay, that is, you need to retransmit that information number of a time till the destination receives the correct information. Okay, when it comes to the redundancy, we people are sending some sort of extra bits along with the data. Okay, and we need to build some sort of a relationship between these two sets. One is the data bits, another one is these redundant bits, and that relationship can be achieved by using the coding mechanism. Okay, here we have a block diagram, that is a structure of a encoder and a decoder. Thus, we have a sender, we have a receiver here. A sender has a message. That message is passed through this generator. The generator applies certain rules and procedures and generates the redundant bits, and it appends that information to the message. Okay, that is a message plus redundancy, and this information is transferred over a unreliable channel here. That is, a unreliable transmission takes place. In this passage, this information, that is a transmitted information, becomes the corrupt one, and it reaches the destination here. We have a received information, that is, a receiver received that the transmitted information. Either it may be a corrupt one or it may be the correct one. Okay, the receiver forwards that received information through this checker. The checker checks whether that received information is correct or not. If it is correct, the message is extracted from it. Otherwise, the received information is discarded here. When it comes to coding, we have two approaches. One is a block coding. The second one is a convolution. Okay, for your syllabus, we have only this block coding approach here. Okay, and we people are going to discuss the number of approaches that are used to detect the errors here. Apart from that, we people are very much interested in the modulo n arithmetic, where we use only the integers in the range of 0 to n minus 1. Okay, we people are using the inclusive numbers. For example, if you are using a modulo 2 operation or a modulo 2 arithmetic, we people are using 0 and 1. If you are using modulo 5 arithmetic, we people are using inclusive number in the range of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you are using a modulo 16, on that case we people are using the integer values in the range of 0 to 15. That is, a 10 is represented A, 11 is represented B, and 15 is represented F here. Okay, these are inclusive numbers we people are using. Out of this, we people are very much interested in a modulo 2 arithmetic here. If you look at the simple arithmetic operations, okay, where we people are not at all using the carry system, okay, that is, in a simple arithmetic, 0 plus 0 yields 0, 1 plus 0 yields 1, 0 plus 1 yields 1, 1 plus 1 yields 0. Suppose if you go through the simple subtraction operation, that is a modulo 2 operation, 0 minus 0 yields 0, 1 minus 0 yields 1, 0 minus 1 yields 1, 1 minus 1 yields 0. Okay. If you look at these two operations, we people are very much familiar with the one operation, that is a XOR operation. If these two bits are same one, on that case the result is a 0 here. Okay. If the two bits are same, the result is a 0. If the two bits are a different one, on that case the result is 1 here. And we people are using this the XOR operation when it comes to error detection and correction here. The next one, we have a block coding. In block coding, we divide our message into blocks. Okay, each of a k bit called a data word, and here we people are adding r redundant bits to each block to make the length n here, that is n equal to k plus r here. N is greater than k here. The resulting n bit block are called as code words. In this topic, we people are going to discuss the error detection, error correction. This correction is not a part of your course here. Okay. Here we have a data. We have a message m here. That message m is divided into a k bit blocks here. With this k bit blocks, we can generate around 2 to the power k different data words, each of k bits. Suppose if you are using a 4 bit, we are able to generate around 16 different values, starting from 0 0 0 0 to 1 1 1 1. In the same manner, in a block coding, we have we need to divide the message into a k bit blocks here, and we need to generate code words. Okay, the code words of size n bit, where n is n equal to, that is a k plus r here. Okay, we need to append r bits here. Those are nothing but redundant bits, so that we can generate the code words for these data words here. Okay, with this n bits, where n is greater than k bits, k here. With this n bits, we people are generating around 2 to the power n different code words. Here, for example, the k value is a 4 here and the n value is a 5 here. That is, I am adding one extra bit here. Okay, that is a redundant bit, so that we can generate the code words. With this 4 bit, we people are generating around 16 different values, whereas with a n bit where n is equal to 5, that is a k plus 1, that is a 5 here. With this 5 bit, you people are generating around 32 different values. And when it comes to the block coding, this block coding process is a one-to-one process. One data word is mapped to the correct code word here. In the sense, around 2 to the power k valid code words we people are having here. In the sense, these data words mapped onto these 2 to the power k valid code words, and the remaining 2 to the power n minus 2 to the power k code words becomes the invalid one. Getting my point? These 16 data words are mapped onto these 16 code words here. Okay, out of the 32 possible code words, these 16 data words are mapped onto 16 code words, and the remaining 16 code words are discarded. That is, we are not using them. Okay, they are invalid code words. For that purpose, we people are saying that this block coding process is one-to-one. Okay, this is the same example we people have gone through. When it comes to 4B/5B block coding mechanism, that is a good example of this type of a coding. In this coding scheme, the k value is a 4 and the n value is a 5 here. That is, with this k bit, that is with a k value that is a 4, we are able to generate around 16 different data words here. And with a n value, we are able to generate around 32 different code words. Okay, these 16 data words are mapped onto 16 code words, and the remaining 16 code words are discarded. They are unused one. They are invalid here. Here, when it comes to the block coding mechanism, we people are using the simple approach here. The source and a destination should and must have a set of valid code words. That is the first case. The second case is the transmitted code word becomes the invalid code word. That is, when you transmit the information, that transmitted information becomes the invalid code word. Then only we are able to detect these errors. That is what process we people are using when it comes to the error detection. Okay, here we have a encoder as well as we have decoder. At the sender side, we have a data word. That data word is the size of a data word is a k bits here, and that information is passed through this generator. The generator applies certain rules and procedures and generates the n bit code word. Okay, n bit code word. Okay, this generator builds some sort of a relationship between this k bit data word and the redundant bits here. Okay, k plus r here. Here we people are getting the n bit code word, that n is equal to k plus r here, and this code word is transferred over this unreliable channel. Okay, we don't have a ideal channel that transmits your information perfectly or correctly here. The received information reaches the destination correctly, or some of bits may become a corrupt one here. The receiver forwards this received code word through the checker. The checker checks the received code word with a list of a valid code word it has. If it matches with a valid code word, it extracts the data bits or a data word from it. Otherwise, it discards that content here. Okay, we will go through some example here. Let us assume that the k equal to 2 and n equal to 3. Okay, we have this is the code word how we people are generating. In this particular approach, we people have used a mechanism or a one method here, that is whatever the redundant bit we people are adding here. Okay, we have a 2-bit data words and the size of a code word is 3 here, and we people are adding this one extra bit in such a way that the number of ones in a code word should and must be the even here. Okay, 0 0, this information is converted to a code word, that is a 0 0 0, 0 1 0 1 1, 1 0 1 0 1, 1 1 1 1 0. That is a code word how we people are we will go through this particular approach in the coming slides here. Okay, at this particular point in time, just go with this particular notation, that is we have a data words and these data words are mapped to these appropriate code words here. Okay. We have a list of data words and code words. Okay, we will go through how we people are deriving that particular code word here. Assume that the sender sends or a sender encodes the data word 0 1 as a 0 1 1 and sends it to the receiver. Okay, and we people are going to discuss these following cases. Consider the receiver receives 0 1 1. Okay, the destination receives 0 1 1. The receiver simply checks that received information with these code words. That is how we people are detecting when it comes to this particular approach. We have already defined the rules, the source and the destination, the sender and the receiver should and must have a list of valid code words. The second one, the transmitted code word should and must be should and must become the invalid. Then only it is possible to detect the error here. Okay, in this first case, the receiver receives 0 1 1. Okay, it is a valid code word. The receiver extract the data word 0 1 from it. Okay, the listen here. The sender adds the redundant bits, whereas the destination removes those redundant bits. Okay, in a when it comes to redundancy, these redundant bits helps the receiver to detect as well as to correct the errors here. The sender adds the redundant bits, the receiver removes it. In this particular case, the receiver receives a 0 1 1. It is a valid code one because the receiver map this information, checks this information with a list of valid code words, and 0 1 1 is matches with the code word that is present here. For that purpose, it came to know that it is a valid code word and it extract the 0 1 from it. The next one, the code word is corrupted during the transmission, and the destination receives a 1 1 1 here. Okay, the destination matches with this list of a valid code word. We don't have that code word here, that is a 1 1 1 we don't have here. For that purpose, it simply discards that information. The third case, the code word is corrupted during the transmission and 0 0 is received. Okay, when it comes to this particular scenario, the 0 0 0 is a valid code word and it extracts that the 0 0 term incorrectly here. Okay, incorrectly, in the sense these type of errors this block coding may not able to detect it. An error detecting code can detect only the type of errors for which it is designed. The other type of errors may remain undetected. That is the structure of an encoder and decoder in a error correction. Okay, we have a encoder. The sender has a data word of a k bits. It passes that information through the generator, and we are producing a n bit code word. Okay, the destination, that is the receiver receives that information, that is a code word, passes it through the checker, and if the bits are corrupted, if it is not a valid code word, on that case it needs to correct it, and after that we need to extract the k bits from it. Okay, it is a difficult one. Okay, there is a one particular approach or a method we people are using, that is a Hamming codes, that is used for the error correction purpose. Okay. But unfortunately that is not a part of your syllabus. We people just try, we will go through this particular example, how we people are trying to guess it. Let us add more redundant bits to it. Here that is a table we have, that is this data word becomes this code word, so on and so forth. Okay, and we people are trying to check it. We need to add a 3 redundant bits to the 2-bit data word to make a 5-bit code word. Okay, assume that the data word is a 0 1, and the sender creates the code word for it, that is a 0 1 0 1 1. The code word is corrupted during the transmission, and 0 1 0 0 1 is received. The first one, the receiver finds that the received code word is not in the table. This means an error has occurred. The receiver, assuming that there is only 1 bit corrupted, uses the following strategy to guess the correct data word here. That is a forward error correction, we can say that. Comparing the received code word with the first code word in the table, that is 0 1 0 0 1 versus 0 0 0, the receiver decides that the first code word is not the one that was sent, because there are 2 different bits here. Okay, by the same reasoning, for the same reason, the original code word cannot be the third as well as the fourth in the table. The original code word must be the second one in the table, because this is the only one that differs from the received code word by the 1 bit here. The receiver replaces a 0 1 0 0 1 with a 0 1 0 1 1 and consults the table to find the data word 0 1 here. That is how we people are rectifying these bits here. We have a list of valid code words. It checks with each possibility here. Okay, and based on that, we people are trying to guess what could be the correct code word, and after that we people are extracting the data word from it. When it comes to the error detection and correction, we people are using one measure here, that is the Hamming distance. Okay, Hamming distance between 2 words, okay, of the same size is the number of differences between the corresponding bits. Okay, how we people are computing this the Hamming distance? We need to perform the XOR operation between the 2 words of same size, that is a bitwise XOR operation, and at the end we need to compute the number of ones that are present in the result. Okay, let us find the Hamming distance between 2 pair of words. The Hamming distance, that is between these 2 terms, that is 0 0 0 and 0 1 1 is 2. Okay, suppose if you perform the XOR operation between these 2, we will get a result as a 0 1 1, and we need to count the number of ones here. okay, that are nothing but a 2 here. In the same fashion, we people are trying to compute the Hamming distance between these words here, okay, and the distance is 3 here. If you perform a bitwise the XOR operation, we people are getting result as a 0 1 0 1 1. That is, if the bits are same here, on that case the result becomes the 0. If the bits are not at all same one, on that case the result becomes the 1 here. That is the XOR operation, okay. And here we need to perform the XOR operation between these two words here, bit by bit, and at the end we need to compute we need to count the number of ones that are present in the result. That simply gives us the Hamming distance. When it comes to designing some sort of a coding system or the code words, we people are using another measure called a minimum Hamming distance. That is the smallest Hamming distance between all pairs in a set of words here, okay. Here we will go through this particular example. We people are trying to find the minimum Hamming distance of the coding scheme. We have a coding scheme, and we people are trying to what could be the Hamming distance here, okay. 0 first, these are all possible pairs here we have, and we need to compute the Hamming distance between all these possible pairs, okay. Here we people are getting the Hamming distance as a 2 here, and what is the minimum value out of this pair? That is a 2. That is the minimum Hamming distance for this particular coding system or a coding scheme is nothing but a 2 here. That is, you need to perform the XOR operation between these two data words, count the number of ones present in the result. In the same manner, we people are performing the operation, and we people are computing the Hamming distance here. After that, I need to select the smallest value from this set here, okay. That simply gives us the minimum Hamming distance here. The minimum Hamming distance for our first code scheme is a 2. This code guarantees the detection of only a single error. For example, if the third code word 101 is sent and a 1 error occurs, the received code word does not match any valid code word. If a 2 error occurs, however, the received code word may not match a valid code word, and error are not detected here. Just to define how many bits we can detect, that is the error detection, as well as how many bits we can correct, that can be defined by using the territory here, okay. We are using the minimum distance, that is Hamming distance. Based on that, we people are trying to define how this coding system detects as well as correct the errors, okay. And we people are using this territory, okay. Consider consider here we have a code word that resides at the center of this circle, okay, at the center of this circle, and the possible error resides within the perimeter of this circle, okay. Suppose if your coding system is able to detect the S number of errors, on that case we people are having this condition, that is the D minimum should and must be greater than S here, where this S defines the S number of errors here, Okay, in the sense the d minimum should and must be equal to s plus 1 here. Okay, the s plus 1 here. Consider I am transmitting a 1 bit information, that is a 0 and 1. The 0 is converted to a code word 000, that is I am appending 2 extra bits here, and I am transmitting a 1 bit information, that is a value 1. That information is converted to code word 111 here. Okay. Suppose if a 2 bit error occurs, on that case maybe we people are having the values, for example 5, 6, that is 0, 1, 1. I am transmitting a 0 here, that 0 becomes the corrupt one. Okay, the 0 is transmitted, that is the code word is transmitted 000 here, and that 000 resides at the center of this circle. If a 2 bit error occurs, what are the possible values we people are receiving? 0, 1, 1, that is a one possible value. 1, 0, 1, that is another one. The third one, that is a 1, 1, 0. All these possible values resides over this perimeter, and the remaining values resides within this perimeter. Okay. Suppose a 3 bit error occurs. On that case, the 000 becomes the corrupt one, that is a 3 bit error occurs. In that case it becomes 111 here. On that case it becomes the another a valid code here. On that case we may not able to detect this particular error. Okay, we are able to detect only the single bit error and a 2 bit errors here, because the Hamming distance between these two pairs, the 000 is XORed with 111. On that case we people are getting the value as a 3 here. Okay, here we people are able to a 1 bit error and a 2 bit error, not a 3 bit error here. The same when it comes to the error detection, we people are using the same concept, that is a territory. Okay, we have the X, that is a code word. We have that X resides at the center of a circle. Another code word we have, that is also resides at the center of a circle here. Okay, each has a certain diameter, that is it we are trying to detect t number of errors. Okay, on that case, to detect the t number of errors, the Hamming distance between these two code words should and must be greater than 2t, in the sense the d minimum should and must be equal to 2t plus 1 here. Then only we are able to detect a t number of errors here. To guarantee the correction of up to 2 errors, in all cases the minimum Hamming distance in a block code must be a d minimum equal to 2t plus 1 here. A code scheme has a Hamming distance d minimum equal to 4. What is error detection and correction capability of this scheme? This code guarantees that the detection up to 3 errors, that is d minimum equal to 4 here, that is we people are detecting s minus 1 errors here, that is a 3 here, and we are able to correct up to 1 bit error here. Okay. If this code is used for error correction, the part of its capability is vested. Error correction codes need to have an odd minimum distances, that is a 3, 5, 7 and so on and so forth. Okay, in the next class we people are going to discuss about the linear block codes. Thank you.